Miyagar Ali in Cartagena on Sábado. Moment. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the Nabi back again. Let me greet everybody real quick. Havorden hadu gudag ola oitere vasas los bonja mezmi kedabawani konnichiwa nihani ama sani bondani jambo harbayagani assalamu alaikum shalom kumusta ka kumusta pokayo and talafa lava soy fu. All right, so we're gonna get this on the road in a moment, but I will holler at y'all in a little bit. Let me get off this call real quick as we wait for other people to come on in, right? So if you would like to join the in the panel, I have put the link. I pinned it to the top. All right, so have at it. Okay. Sábado, so yo tengo algunas cosas para tú también. So, sábado o domingo, puedes conocer sábado o domingo.
Cualquiera de los 2 días está bien.
Bien, día.
Sí, bien.
Okay. Sábado, yeah, domingo. So domingo, muy temprano, muy voy para Torre de Reloj para presente pelotas para mis amigas de Palenque. And then sí, ella tranza mi cabello también. Sí, es mi amiga, mi familia para Colombia. Okay.
Entiendo.
So, para ahora, yo hace un video al vivo. So, ya hablamos contigo más tarde.
Ok, entiendo. Está bien lo.
Okay. So, hasta, ciao. All right. So, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? I know some are probably going to get the message late. We're going to see what happens and stuff like that. But what I really wanted to do is really get a grasp on how we as Afro men are to conduct ourselves in the midst of a war zone in which so many are battling against us. All right. We keep telling each other we have no friends, but there has been a psyop job done on us as Afro men. Hold on for a second. There has been a psyop job that has been done on us as Afro men. For a while. All right. And I'm gonna keep it real. I am going to keep it real. The job that has been done on us has been so thorough that many dudes don't realize or understand just what's really going on. All right. They really don't understand the deal. They really don't. It's just hard for them to get. All right. And in all our ways of getting stuff, we need to get this. All right. So I don't know what's going on. Um, I don't know what's going on with um, I don't know what's going on with my live stream. Okay, but think I see some of the brothers coming in. All right, so we are in a treacherous and precarious position, and the reason why we are in such a precarious and treacherous position, um, it is because we lack understanding about the psyops that has been done on us. All right, brothers, we lack understanding, and we got to get this understanding about one, what's been done to us. All right, we have to understand what's been done to us. All right, you got a lot of dudes so politically weak that that it just doesn't make sense. Hold on. All right. So you got a lot of dudes that are so weak in how they think. Here's the thing, and this is something about this election that I want y'all to pay attention to. Couple of things I want y'all to pay attention to is this, that hold it. All right, one of the things I want y'all to pay attention to this is that hold on for a second. That we have been beat literally into submission to whatever the whims of the system is. And the system has been rewarding the B dub for putting us on that track where we are physically strong but mentally weak, where we cannot see ourselves outside of the system, but we are looking at ourselves by way of the same toxic system that seeks to destroy us as Afro men. All right. And part of how they can do it is we can avoid being in the system easily. We can make our own business, our own startups, this, that, and the other, right? And when we were together as families, the Afro man at the head, right? We were very prosperous. So what did they do? They switched out the responsibility of fathers and gave it to the B dub who betrayed the family, who betrayed their own children. I mean, we're looking at a deep seated betrayal. You know, we're looking at a deep seated betrayal of of who we are supposed to be as a community, right? And you hear it in their voices now. You see that in this day and age, they will not hesitate to take a life that they, I mean, remember when we look at the abortion rate, all right, um, let me look at it again. I believe is 600, I mean, 300. Hold on, let me see this. When we look at the abortion rate, I'm gonna get that number for you real quick. Um, it is 300. It's 363,705. Right, but it's higher than that now. It's close to 400,000. I want you to let that sink in. That's more than 1,000 a day. Here's the big fig Newton. We're talking about more than 1,000 a day, right? 60% of those are males. There is a gender war in the BC. There is definitely a gender war. Hey, what's up, Dark Plague? Hey, Kid Jackson, and whoever else is here. There is a gender war. It was not started by the man. All right. It's not a both of us. Well, we all have an equal part in this. No. We were betrayed by the B Dub. We were straight up betrayed by them. All right. So as a result of that, to betray us, they were given power over us while we were young. And I want y'all to think about something. When we were young, I don't know how many of you remember this. When we were young, our mother, our mothers, for those of us that was raised by a single mom, our mothers gave us whippings or beatings. We used to, for those of us that had more, there was more in the family. We used to be like, "Hey, you're going to get a beating if you don't do what mom says. You're going to get a beating." All right, I want y'all to understand that we were going to get a beating. And I was talking to Brother Dwight, and I noticed that when I was around Caucasian families, they didn't give their children beatings or whippings. They gave them spanking. And it was usually done with a paddle. They had a paddle. They didn't have an extension cord, hoses to the dryer, switches. Think about this. Switches, all of this stuff, right? All of this stuff we got whipped and beat with. And I want y'all to be clear. I want y'all to be clear about this. I know some of you listen from other places and may not contemplate what I'm actually saying, right? But we got beat or whipped. Caucasians got spanked. The act of violence that was enacted on us as young boys was a marathon. Even as we grew up, there was a power And it was psychological that the black mother had over the sons all the way up into adulthood. And I want y'all to understand another thing while we're talking about all these beatings that we used to get. All right, and I'm going somewhere with this. Right, there's a reason I'm putting Jasher up here. All right, there's a reason that I got Jasher up here because I want y'all to have an understanding of what's going on. At no point as we were growing up did the B Dub have respect for us as males, as men, as the leaders of the house. And why? And it is because they went to the system for control and leadership and dominion. This is what we're seeing. We're not seeing where B dubs want equality. They want dominion over the males. I want y'all to understand this. And they understand that they're nowhere, they cannot outthink us. They're not smarter than us, not wiser than us. And their vanity keeps them from all of that. All right. Only when they get much older do they engage in wisdom and stuff. But then again, these ones that's coming up now, that's not going to happen to them for this simple reason. Their souls have been sold out so much to please their physical nature that they will stop at nothing to destroy anything that gets in that way. Period. They will stop at nothing to destroy anything that gets in that way. I want y'all to understand that. And so we are at a place right here where we got to understand some things, right? And one of the things that we must understand is the first thing brothers got to do is we do not need to go to therapy and talk to these people in these systems because they don't mean us any good. Their job is to talk us into accepting what the system has before it by way of the system. Like marriage counseling. All right, they want you to do things the way of the system. Maybe you need to get a divorce, so hire a lawyer, but we want you to prepare, we want to prepare your mind to be robbed as a man. You see what I mean? They don't solve the issue. They try to help you cope with the bad situation, not resolve the bad situation. Their version, their definition of resolving that bad situation is the cope. Y'all understand? Their understanding of resolving a situation is to not have you drastically change something, not really getting the toxic part. No, they would half the dudes in these marriage counselings should not have anything to do with the woman, especially if she committed adultery. Right? The marriage counseling has never been for the man. It's been to benefit the woman. Why? Because they need her to keep that man's resources tied up so that there will be no more Malcolm X's, there will be no more Martin Luther King. As a matter of fact, when things get real organic, who came to the rescue of the Caucasian system? 3B Dubs, in the name of Black Lives Matter, a name they stole from the teenage boys who were getting out of hand because of that. They were so riled up with anger because they knew exactly what happened, right? those women, these boys' mom, and the media made a mom who had multiple children from multiple babies' daddies, who was living off of government assistance, who wasn't really taking care of those children in the home. But because she came and stopped her son from protesting the injustices, understand what this woman did. She went and shut her son down from protesting. And by the time she got done with him, she stripped every ounce of manhood and righteousness, wanting to stand up for what's right, away from him. To the point, to this day, he's probably a shell of what he could have been. In other words, he wanted to stand up for what was right and be righteous. And that mom came and stripped that from him. I want y'all to understand that. She stripped that from him because that's their job. All right. They are no good for us, right? This is what always get us in trouble. We have that saying that everything that looks good ain't good for you. Right? We have a bias in who can tell our story. And they have a select group of people that they've already chosen to tell our story. All right. And if you're not a part of that select group, then you don't get to tell that story, right? So now let's get into really breaking some stuff down. I wanted to give people a little more time to come in, but many are going to come in late as usual. So it is what it is. Hold on. And here's something the women, the B-dub will give the best of their looks to the Caucasian man that's doing illegal stuff, to another dude that's doing illegal stuff. And they will do that before they give anything to a righteous man or build with a righteous man, because they are not interested in building anything, right? So let's look at this, right? Now, how does all of this tie in? All these beatings that we were getting from mom and them and the aunts. Remember, the people that were the most violent towards us as we were growing up. I left home early because I wasn't taking no more beatings. And I stood up to my mom to her face. And so I was out in the streets. So I grew up in the streets. I grew up in orphanage. When I did turn 16, I went home for a little bit. But yeah, I wasn't taking no beatings. Right? You can't beat me anymore. I'm stronger than you. Right? My stepfather that taught me martial arts and got me into science and stuff, she did that dude so wrong. This is why, and basically we are in sin. I want y'all to understand this. We are in sin when we try to have a sexual relationship with a woman in the United States that has a child and she's getting child support. Now, if she's a widow or the child's a bastard, like she don't know who's dad, that's another thing. But child support means that she has a husband. And it means the state made some man her husband because that's what the definition of a husband is someone that financially or otherwise take care of a child and that woman. Most are. Most are. And we see that. All right. Here's the thing, the uniform. What is witchcraft? The art of this deception, right? What is the major uniform that they wear? The weave and makeup. Whoop, there it is, right? Weave and the makeup. Now, I want to get into something real quick. And I want y'all to understand where this is coming from. And I'm guessing a lot of you may not be aware of this. A lot of you may not be aware of it. All right. Now, as we have this discussion, if you want to join the live, the link is at the top. It's pinned to the top. All you got to do is click that link, right? My PayPal and Cash App is in the description box. So if you can help a brother out, it'd be most appreciated. Remember, you take care of yourself and family first, though, always. And then from out of your abundance, if you have an abundance and you want to help a brother out with um, a few Washingtons, Lincolns, or if you, some of y'all big ballers might have Benjamins in this economy that just passed over this past 40 years. I doubt that. But anyway, but you take care of yourself and family first, and then if you like what a person is doing in the community, you want to donate, then you do that out of your abundance. All right. So with that said, my PayPal my Cash App is in the description box, along with my email, just in case you want a copy of the stuff we're about to go over. All right. So this is the book of Jasher, chapter 22. All right. Now, the reason why I have this here, do I have chapter 22 or 23? Hold on. Let me see. Chapter 22 or 23? I'll see in a hot second. '22 and '23. Hold on. That ain't it. All right, let's get back to this. Okay, let's get back to this. Sorry about that, y'all. All right, so what's up, everybody? Okay, so here we go. All right, so let's break this down. All right, I don't know how many of y'all are aware of this. Yeah, it crashed for a little bit, Afro Sith, but I got it back. All right, it crashed for a little bit. Can y'all see? Can y'all see the book of Jasher? All right. Yeah, it crashed for a little bit, so cut some of this bandwidth. But anyway, so if you look at here, and I want you to understand the significance of the book of Jasher, right? When you look at this, I want y'all to understand that there's some BS that we're not supposed to tolerate from women. Abraham was blessed because he knew how to handle women and he taught it to his sons. All right. So if we go up here, all right, and we'll start out here. All right, here at 24, right? And Abraham went to the wilderness. All right, Abraham went to the wilderness, right? We'll start here. Now, let me see if I'm still up. So, y'all got it? All right, so we got Abraham goes to the wilderness. What did he go to the wilderness to do? Check up on Ishmael, right? So he went and he reached the tent of Ishmael around noon. So understand that he did not stay far from Ishmael. So it took him an afternoon to get to where Ishmael was. The wife of Ishmael was sitting in a tent with her children, and Ishmael, her husband, and his mother was not with them. And Abraham asked the wife of Ishmael, saying, Where has Ishmael gone? And she said, He has gone to the field to hunt. And Abraham was still mounted on the camel. And the reason why he stayed mounted on the camel, because he told Sarah that he would not get down, because Sarah was so jealous of Hagar that she did not want Abraham to sojourn so long with and she continued sitting in the tent and did not notice Abraham. So she did not acknowledge an elder, and she just ignored him. This is the mentality that we're looking at right now in the community, where there is utterly no respect for men, the Afro man, right? Nor patriarchs nor fathers from the B Dub. Neither did she ask him who he was. She didn't even give a damn about who he was. Okay, so y'all understand what's going on here? All right. So and this is what, and the reason why I'm bringing this particular story up is it gets rid of a few narratives, right? One of the narratives is that, and you hear it in the religious circles, that there was beef between Ishmael and Isaac, and there was no more beef between them than what there is between brothers, right? But they loved each other. All right. Abraham didn't leave Ishmael on his own, because at the beginning of this story, you find that Ishmael had a lot of stuff due to what Abraham had given him. So he was wealthy with animals and everything like that, right? All right. So now I want you to understand something else about that relationship between Abraham and Ishmael. And Abraham said to Ishmael's wife, "When thy husband Ishmael returned home, say these words to him. A very old man from the land of Philistine came hither to seek thee, and thus was his appearance and figure," describing himself. "I did not ask him who he was, and seeing thou wast not here, he spoke unto me and said, When Ishmael thy husband returneth, tell him thus did this man say, When thou comest home, put away this nail of the tent which thou hast placed here, and place another nail in its stead." This is some heavy stuff right here. Brothers, this is some heavy stuff. So heavy. I'm gonna put this here. Because she's a female. Afro Sith. Because she is a woman. Period. See, here's the thing. The power of the first wife is this. That she is, because she's the first wife, that she is kind of the head, right? There's also another significance here. In in this, in this, the jealousy also was the youth of Hagar, right? So you're dealing with jealousy behind youth. You dealing with a woman that could pop out more children than her, and she was specifically more jealous of her than any of Abraham's other wives. Up until she died. All right. All right. Here's another thing that you need to understand. Hold on. Let me change this. All right. Here's some other things that you need to understand. That the same dealings that we've been dealing with women, it's an old story, right? And so basically, while dealing with this, while dealing with this, you got to understand that the difference in the treachery of the dealing with the treachery of this is this, that men back then dealt with it, but because we had our man good and good. There we go. Sorry about the internet here. Um, for some reason, the internet is sorry in the United States, all over the United States, as if we're a third world country. And, and we're talking about the hotels and stuff like that too. And the sad part is, the sad part is that the internet is better in almost everywhere else, right? So she was cursing and beating the children. All right. So here we are. The woman was cursing and beating the children. And so this is, Abraham gives this riddle. to this woman, when thou comest home, put away the nail of the tent which thou hast placed here, and replace it for another nail in its stead. All right. And this is the part I want to keep real with you all. This is the get real part, right? That we are supposed to replace. Hold on. We are supposed to replace these women. We're not supposed to be having a come together moment. We're not supposed to negotiate with them. We're not supposed to talk with them to see what kind of conclusions we could come to. We're not supposed to go to counseling. You heard? We're not supposed to do any of that stuff. We're supposed to replace them. What's up, Space Rice Crispy? If you would like to join the panel, the link is at the top, right? We're supposed to be getting rid of them. And so here's the thing, because they will betray us at the drop of a hat. They come with the looks and everything, but in all of these looks, it's not for us. It is not for the Afro man. They will set us up to take falls and get rich off of them, right? But the saddest thing to all of this is we don't recognize the job that has been done on us, because from the beginning we had our manhood stripped from us by the mom. This masculine trope. Hey, what's up, Nesman? This masculine trope of beatings, whipping by the mother. See, the father, he came, he spanked you. It wasn't no marathon spanking either. But these women, they picked up all manner of weapons, the whip, and they whipped you until they got tired. Why? Because they wanted the same control over you that she saw the slave master have over the slaves in the field. Let's not get it twisted. All right. We're looking at a power grab. We're looking at not our lovers. We're not looking at lovers. We're not looking at women that care about us. We're looking at women in this modern age who have been told by the system that we will give you some manner of authority over the Afro man. But here's the thing that happened. They got so giddy and drunk with this power that they got from this wicked system that they bragged about how they use it to manipulate, to destroy not only the Afro man, but they do that to him as he is a child, while he's yet a child. Oh yeah, I destroyed him proudly. Yeah, I know how to. They're easy to manipulate. We could just use our body to manipulate them. Oh, it's easy. All right, first you marry them 5 years, then you wait 5 years, and then you take half his stuff. Get that bag. Get that bag. Think about the vanity and the greed. It's all about the bag. And the reason why we keep falling for it as suckers The reason why we keep falling for it as suckers, it is because that's what we were whipped to be. We were whipped, right? We were whipped, beat, stripped of manhood, and it wasn't the system that did it. Remember, what these paste people did is they always got another BP to do the damage that they wanted to do to us. But no one was more effective than the modern day B-Dub. She's been so effective at destroying us that level of destruction has carried on into their women who are doing the same thing to them, and they're like, pump the brakes, right? When we look at all this stuff, and this is how ignorant and stupid a lot of people are when it comes to this type of wickedness. All right, and we're talking about a level of a corrupt heart that these people, they're still upset Trump won the election, right? It really has nothing to do with us. All the programs, the DEIs, all the programs, affirmative action and DEIs, hardly any of it went to us as Afro men. But the face of all these things were the B-Dubs who happily march to give all these privileges to Caucasian people. Because when you look at these things, this DEI and all the rest of that stuff, the number one benefactor was the Caucasian woman. Caucasian people, period. Because Mexicans are considered Caucasians. All right, y'all need to know that. All right, and then they made another Caucasian group, the LGBTQ plus people. They benefited more, but that's nothing but a offshoot of the Caucasian people. When you look at all the faces under the Biden administration that benefited from DEI that was in all these high positions, I mean, and they really came down to it. Only roughly like 3% were BP. But the face of all of that, they tried to make the BP. All right. Again, if y'all would like to join the live, the link is pinned to the top. All you have to do is click it and show up. Now, so when we're dealing with this, right? When we're dealing with this, you got some of these dudes that had so much manhood whipped out of them as boys that women have to think for them. Women think for them. The B-Dub think for these dudes. Right? And these dudes have plantation-minded thinking, so much so that they will argue with a B-Dub that's trying to straighten them out on some stuff. B-Dubs that get it and trying to show them honor. These dudes don't even know how to honor themselves. All right. And it's pathetic. But the reason why this happens is that while this has been going on, as I showed you, when Abraham sat up there and he said, you need to replace this nail with another. All right. Understand the coding behind that. All right, understand that she was beating the children. Children of the Most High should not need to beat their children. You discipline, but you don't beat the children. Understand this message right here, too. Whenever my son returns, whenever Ishmael returns, put away this nail of the tent thou hast placed here, and place another nail in its stead. Now, I want y'all to understand how deep this is. I want y'all to understand how deep this is, right? This is a father giving wisdom to a son. I want y'all to understand it. And one of the things that these women are trying to combat, this is why they have a problem with passport bros, with brothers like me. This is why a lot of them send. I mean, think about how weak these dudes are. These women will send these dudes into our discussion to just block and mess things up. I want you to think about that for a second, right? These women will do that. And the reason why they do that is that this is knowledge they don't want men to have, where we say, F that, we do not bargain with you. We're not supposed to bargain with these women. We're not supposed to go to counseling with these women. It is what we say or the highway. And brothers, this needs to be your attitude when dealing with them. It is when it is our house. Remember, the Most High gives us dominion over our house. All right. We have dominion over our house. We have dominion over the woman. It says in Genesis, we are to rule over her. All right. We are to rule over her. And the reason why things are so effed up, because we ain't ruling. We're trying to negotiate with somebody that mean us nothing but harm and toxicity. An old video. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Afro Sith. I mean, we always coming up like that, son husbands. When I had gotten married while I was in the Army, first, I didn't realize that I should not have gotten married, had that license and stuff like that. But I was heavily into the church, doing things the church way, right? But I was I didn't know what a husband was. All right, because the system taught me to not be a husband. A husband is a ruler over the woman. I was looking at counseling, this, that, and the other, because we were both military, right? And no, there's a lot of stuff about the culture, and understand this about all these religions and all these churches and stuff like that. All these church organizations were created by paste men that were looking for a way to have a flock or people that they could rule over. It's about control. All right. The Most High does not have somebody die for somebody else's or pay the price for somebody else's sins. Repenting literally means to make things right with the person you have wronged. not pray to some dude in the sky that used to be a human being and stuff like that, right? And this is lost on them. But chief among this is through violence, the B-dub, while we were yet children, tried to strip us of our manhood to make us to be afraid to be men. All right, but now that we're older, we need to be teaching these young brothers how to man up. The young brothers are going to listen to some of us, but we're going to be at war with the minions of the B-dub, right? Because the B-dub see men like me as a threat, not to the community. They understand I'm a blessing to the community. I'm a blessing to children, but they can't have that, right? Somebody said this. These women would rather try to rule in hell rather than have the peace of heaven. That's the legacy that we're looking at, right? And so basically, we got to understand what we have come through and why we think the way we were thinking. Right. There it is. We are always a threat to this, right? But we need to understand where we come from. These and understand that when we look at the term like whipping, beating, oh, you're gonna get a beating. That's not supposed to be. All right. If you look at what Abraham, he sat there and he watched Ishmael's wife beat the children. And he told Ishmael, you need to get rid of her. And as the story went on, when Ishmael heard what this woman had done and heard the code to replace that tent nail, put another tent nail in that, he got rid of her. He sent her back to Egypt to her father and went to Canaan and picked another wife. See, there, and notice he sent her out. The children stayed. All right. He sent her to her father, which she came with. There was the woman don't get 50% of, no. Right. And this is why divorce, you give a lady a divorce and you put them away. And this shows you that Abraham went to him. He says, get rid of her. And he got rid of her immediately, sent her back to her father's house. All right. And this is where we got it. This is the understanding we need to have. We're not supposed to be tolerating any BS. Right. Okay. So you are Hebrew because of the seed. All right. Men, we carry the Hebrew seed. So no matter who we get with, because we are the rulers, we are the line. Whoever we place the seed in, that child becomes Hebrew. Right? When we take a woman away from her father's house, she becomes unto us, and we rule over her. Right? And this is why when there's an issue, we give her the left foot of fellowship back to her father's house, but the children stays with the husband. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. So there is no such thing as Miss Rach. No, you are who your father is. And Caucasians understand that. They're only using that terminology to keep black people confused. All right. And to give the B dub an out into all the wickedness that they're doing. All right. Because it does another thing too. So when a Caucasian has a child from a B dub, that man treats that child as his. They get more privilege within the Caucasian system, this, that, and the other, right? Now, when the Caucasian woman has an Afro man's child, they also understand that that's the Afro man's child, right? And so they don't give him the business. He don't go into the corporate world with a leg up, right? As a matter of fact, things would be worse, except that we when we're doing things right, we want our own SH. So we don't want to deal with them in their corporate world under their corporate rules, which are all basically wicked. Remember, usury and all the rest of that stuff, that is against scripture. You see? And so basically what we're looking at and stuff, and a couple of things we have to understand, all right, is that as we're dealing with a lot of this stuff, right, we have to shake off how we were taught, go back and read and see what makes sense. Because when you look at all these dudes kicking these women to the curb and stuff like that, right, the children stay with them. The children belong to the father. Bottom line, there was no confusion, and there was never any confusion. Even if you look at Norse mythology and all of the other stuff, I mean, you listen to it, and when you look and get into mythology, and especially like Odin's son, right? He's like, I am Thor, son of Odin, right? Who your father is was important, and especially in many of the countries in Africa. The only time things got out of hand is when there was the influence of the Caucasians. If you look at the South Africans right now, they used to be beautifully dark, but the women had allowed the Caucasians to run through them, and so some of them have the seed of not the original South Africans. All right. And so, yeah, your father, who your father is important, because any woman can carry the seed. Any woman with a womb can carry the seed of a Hebrew. And this is how you know that these camps got it wrong. Because if the woman is involved in witchcraft, why would you still tell dudes that they need that's the woman for you to marry when when you look in Ezekiel and Ezra, no, Deuteronomy and Ezra, the nations that we are not to bother with were all black. But it gives a why, because they will turn their sons and daughters away from the Most High because they were involved in witchcraft, this, that, and the other. Look at all the stuff the B Dub march for. March for everything that the Most High and Scripture would consider wicked. Right. And this is the problem with single moms. This is the problem with single moms. If she's getting child support, then she's not a single mom. She's not a widow. Her child is not a bastard. She's getting child support. Right? So that means whoever's paying the child support is technically her husband. And while that man can get another wife, she can't get another husband. Because anybody that goes into her, this is why our community is really effed up. Because these I'm not a stepfather. I'm just the man that stepped up. No, you're an adulterer. You saw this woman with a bunch of children from a bunch of different dudes, and you up there, and she getting a bunch of child support from all these men. So her ties are not severed from these men. And you gonna come up there because she's making that little extra money, and you talking about you stepped up. No, you are an adulterer. The only way I could see being with somebody that has a child is if if you're outside of the United States in a place that don't have the same child support laws. So you got some dudes that go drop like say the DR or the Philippines or say even Colombia, right? And so, you got a lot of these women that have a child from somebody, all right, that left them. All right, but there's no child support. All right, that means that child is a bastard. Not fatherless because somebody had them, but nobody is taking care of them. So if you don't mind taking on that responsibility, then that's different. But in the United States, there is hardly no such situation where a woman had a child that she's not getting child support or something from. So she's getting the child support from that other dude. Then she need to be like, that's my husband. So long as he paying child support, that woman is married to that man. But see, in this wickedness that we got going on in this country, right? That's why I'm glad Trump is trying to do something about it. But in this wickedness you got going on in this country, they have allowed women to do carte blanche anything they wanted to do. And it is destroying the nation. Catering to these women has destroyed civility. I mean, look at how destroyed the country is. They get you got dudes mad up like a little bee. All right, but it all starts here. That a lot of these dudes had their manhood beat out of them. So as they got older, they became more afraid to be a man. No, you're right, dude. JJ, you're right. State property. The B dub is state property. You're right. You're right. No, 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 no. You're looking at the level of treachery that is state sponsored. The B dub is state sponsored, right? CPS only started getting involved when these women was so bad they were taking a lot of lives, and the state looked bad that their little honey badger um, was this so destructive that they were taking too young lives, and it makes the state look bad. They have to do something. All right. But at the end of the day, all right, we are as brothers. First of all, we can't, don't, you should not let them shame you into doing what they want to do. See, they'll go and they was like, oh, Serena was doing the crip walk, and like she her dad, who got his jaw broke and everything for her, she did not have enough honor to say, but and she married a dude that made way less than she did, right? And so, but she still want to be culturally black. All right. See, these women are always will straddle the fence because people will let them back in, but we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to let them back in. When when they choose um, to disrespect the good Afro man, then we leave them to the punishment that the Most High has waiting on them. Period. They're no longer worthy of us, and that's how you have to look at it. They're not worthy of us. All right. We need to find women that are worthy of us. The American B dub is not worthy of us. Right, right, right. I mean, and it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. This is their image, right? But notice, notice when we're dealing with them, when they're this image, right? The uniform says that they do not want a good Afro man. The uniform says that they are only down for the thug and whatever Caucasian come along. All right. That's why they go get the blonde weave. And they will even help the Caucasian man do criminality in the whole entire community. All right. Like the situation with DJ Kid. So, with that said, brothers, be forewarned. All right. Be forewarned that it's a sticky situation. Now, my next live will probably be from Colombia. So maybe Saturday or Sunday. So with that said, I'm going to be out. My donation, my PayPal and Cash App is in the description box along with my email. Like, share, subscribe. When you subscribe, click the notification bell. All right. And I will holler at you all a little later. Peace, love, and soul. And y'all got to remember, we are the seed makers. We're not supposed to be putting up with BS. These women tried to beat our manhood out of us, but you got to get over it. Stop taking mess. No negotiation, no conversation. All right. It's the highway for them. Period. All right. It's it. It's it. Why? Because we are rulers. We are raised. We are not kings. We are rulers, spiritually and otherwise. All right. We don't tolerate the mess. All right. So, with that said, I'm out. Peace, love, and soul, everybody.